Snowflakes fell quietly over the dimly lit street, dancing in the glow of the bakery's window. Inside, everything looked warm, the shelves lined with colorful cakes, the smell of sugar and vanilla filling the air. Outside, in the cold, stood a little girl no older than 8. Her coat was torn, her shoes soaked with melted snow. She hugged a worn-out teddy bear against her chest, shivering as she stared at the cakes through the glass. After a long moment, she gathered her courage and pushed the door open. The bell above it jingled softly. The warmth of the bakery brushed her cheeks, and she whispered in a trembling voice, "Do you have an expired cake for my birthday?" The woman behind the counter looked up, annoyed. "We don't sell trash here, kid. Go away before my manager sees you." The girl's eyes filled with tears. She lowered her head and murmured, "I just wanted to blow out a candle," before quietly stepping back into the cold night. She walked behind the bakery and sat near the trash bins. Her tiny hands rummaged through a cardboard box until she found a half-crushed piece of cake, its icing faded and hard. She brushed the snow off and placed it gently in front of her. From her pocket, she pulled a broken matchstick and stuck it in the middle like a candle. Closing her eyes, she whispered softly, "Happy birthday, Mama," and blew on it as if it were a real flame. Across the street, a man sat in a black car, watching. He was Alexei Morozov, a wealthy businessman and owner of that very bakery chain. He had come to inspect the store, but instead, his attention froze on the little girl's fragile figure. Her trembling shoulders, the broken cake, the tiny whisper, it pierced something deep inside him. He had seen that look before, long ago, in the mirror of an orphanage window when he was a child himself. As she disappeared down the snowy alley, Alexei couldn't move. The sound of her small voice, "Do you have an expired cake?" echoed in his head again and again. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat in silence, haunted by the memory of his own hunger, and by a single question he couldn't escape: how could a world so rich still let a child beg for a piece of an old cake? The next morning, Alexei rose early, unable to shake the image of the little girl from his mind. He drove straight to the same bakery. The morning rush had just begun, and the clerk froze when she saw him, the owner himself standing in the doorway, his face unreadable. He spoke quietly but firmly, "Last night there was a little girl here. She asked for an expired cake. What did you do?" The woman hesitated, her eyes darting nervously. "She was just a beggar, sir. I told her to leave." Alexei's jaw tightened. "You threw a child into the cold," he said in a low, angry voice. "Over a piece of cake." The woman lowered her head, ashamed, but he didn't wait for her answer. He turned and left, the words still burning in his chest. He spent the rest of the day searching. He walked through markets, underpasses, and alleys, asking people if they had seen a little girl with a teddy bear. Nobody seemed to know anything. As evening approached, snow began to fall again, thicker now, muffling the city's noise. Just when he was about to give up, he noticed a faint sound, a soft, broken humming. Following it, he turned a corner and saw her sitting under an old stone arch, wrapped in a piece of cloth, feeding crumbs of stale bread to a small kitten that purred in her lap. He approached slowly, not wanting to frighten her. "Hey there," he said gently. "Do you remember me?" She looked up with tired eyes, but there was no fear in them, only exhaustion. "You're not here to chase me away, are you?" she asked quietly. "No," he replied. "I came to help." He sat down beside her. And for a moment they both listened to the quiet snowfall. "Why are you out here alone?" he finally asked. She stroked the kitten's fur and said softly, "Mama got sick and went to heaven. Then we lost our home. I don't like the shelter. People there yell." Her words broke something inside him. He took off his coat and wrapped it around her thin shoulders. "I'll bring you something warm to eat tomorrow. I promise." She smiled faintly and whispered, "You're not afraid of expired cakes." He laughed quietly through the ache in his chest. "No, little one," he said. "Tomorrow, I'll bring you the freshest cake in the city." The next morning, sunlight poured through the small window of a cozy guest room in Alexei's house. For a few seconds, the little girl didn't know where she was. The bed was soft, the air warm, and the smell of something sweet filled the room. She sat up slowly, clutching her teddy bear, afraid it was all a dream. Then she noticed a dress folded neatly on the chair, clean, soft, with a pink ribbon. She slipped it on and walked carefully into the next room. There, on a big table, stood a cake unlike anything she had ever seen. White cream, strawberries, and little chocolate hearts on top. Candles flickered gently. Alexei stood beside it, smiling for the first time in years. "Happy birthday, Sophia," he said. She covered her mouth, her eyes wide with disbelief. "For me," he nodded. "For you. Now make a wish." Her hands trembled as she closed her eyes. "I wish my mama could see me right now," she whispered softly, then blew out the candles. Alexei's heart ached, and he reached out to hold her hand. "From now on," he said, "you'll never have to spend another birthday alone." She looked up at him with tears glistening on her lashes. "You really mean that?" "I do," he said gently. "You have a home now, Sophia, with me." She hugged him tightly, pressing her small face against his chest. "Thank you, Papa." The word caught him by surprise, but it felt right, more right than anything in his life before. A year later, the city knew about Alexei's bakery for more than its cakes. He had started a new tradition, the Day of Kindness. Every week, his bakeries gave free cakes to orphans and homeless children. The walls were covered with drawings made by the kids, and laughter filled the air. Sophia, now healthier and brighter, helped hand out cupcakes, tying ribbons around each one. She loved seeing the smiles on the faces of children who reminded her of herself. That evening, after closing, she gave Alexei a letter folded neatly. "Read it when I'm asleep," she said with a shy smile. Later, under the glow of his desk lamp, he opened it and read her words. "Thank you for giving me not just a cake, but a life. I want to bake happiness for others too." Alexei looked out the window as snow began to fall again. He whispered softly, "Happy birthday, my little girl." This time, the winter night didn't feel cold at all.